Hello, everyone. You're welcome to day 2 of DevOps. And today we're going to be starting with the first tool that we need to learn in DevOps. The name of the tool is Git. Combine it with GitHub. Right. So before we continue, is there any question from yesterday's introductory session? Have you been able to rewatch class video? Do you have any questions? Do you want any clarification before we move on? Okay, I think Angela is just joining us. Is Angela a Mr. or a Mrs.?
Mr. Actually,
Welcome.
I don't know why wasn't the link wasn't shared with me for yesterday class, and
Oh,
I
I'm sorry
complained
about
to
that.
just shared it today. So that's why I
Yeah.
couldn't join yesterday.
Okay, you're
And
welcome, Mr. Angela.
I've also complained because I can't see the recording for last class too. So I've also informed that. So I don't know anything about last class.
Oh, okay. So I didn't get your email. I just received it about a few minutes to class. But I apologize on our behalf. You get the recording of yesterday and today together, right? It's just to
All
go
right, that's
at
fine.
your email, right? So what we did yesterday was an introductory session to DevOps. We started with the two methodologies involved in software development, talk about waterfall and agile. We said waterfall is a software development method whereby the project activities are broken down into linear sequential phases. Emphasis on linear and sequential. It means that it is in a finish to start order. Finish to start means if a phase does not end, the next phase does not begin. Why? The output or the deliverables of the first phase serve as the input to the next phase. Okay. And we also try to explain one or two merits and demerits of waterfall. But because it has a major flaw, and that is the fact that you can carry errors over in waterfall, and you may not know until you get to user acceptance test. Then you realize there has been a major mistake at the design phase. And what that means is you now have to tear down the entire project and go and start from the top. And that was what led to the second methodology, which is agile methodology. And it has now been adopted across almost all fields of endeavors, right? By the process of making a thing is flexible enough that you can check at every phase if what you are doing is still in order. And not only that, you can even change designs and it will not affect the overall, and it will not cause you to go and start all over again. You can update. Agile is flexible. So you now hear of Scrum Agile, you now hear of Scrum management, Agile management, you now hear of Agile design, not only in software development, but across all fields, especially in enterprise and corporate arena. Right. And I remember I gave us an assignment yesterday, which is to find 5 advantages of Agile over Scrum and 5 advantages of, sorry, why am I saying Scrum? Please pardon me. 5 advantages of Agile over Waterfall and 5 advantages of Waterfall over Agile. Okay. And assignments are meant to be submitted. Okay. So because we have classes Saturdays and Sundays, assignments are expected to come in latest Thursday. All right. So irrespective of the day of the assignment, either on Saturday or on Sunday, please attempt it and then submit on Thursday. Now, how do you submit? I will say put the assignment up on your GitHub and share a GitHub link or the GitHub repository with me. Okay. By now, I expect that we have worked. Have we even worked with GitHub? Did you guys use GitHub during?
Yes, yes, we have.
Okay, so you guys know how to
Not
create
as such.
repo. Okay, maybe we should just hold on then. So submit the assignment directly on the Discord channel. Put it in. If it is Word you are comfortable with, put it in Word and then just upload it to Discord channel. I'll pick it up from there. Okay. So that was just about that we did. Oh, okay. So we discussed some continuous the life cycle of DevOps, and then someone asked a very vital question of how things were before DevOps, and we tried to give at least three of the many problems that DevOps solved. Okay. Uh, one of them is configuration management, which involves developing an application in an environment and then deploying the application in a different environment. The environment of development and deployment may influence the stability of applications, okay, which was a major issue before DevOps. Then DevOps come and then DevOps introduced containerization, right? Rather than the operation team and the development team to be fighting, why don't they containerize the app so that irrespective of the environment where the app is deployed to, the container is going to shield the app from whatever effect and influence the environment we want to have on the app, which is a beautiful one. I shared two other solutions to the two problems before DevOps. When you watch the video, you're going to be getting a full glimpse of that. I also tried to explain, not in details, summarily, the life cycle of DevOps, starting with continuous development. This is where you plan and you code. Okay? Uh, Followed by continuous integration. This is where you integrate the code. Okay, as continuous development, you plan, you code, and you build, please. Okay. And I told us for our coding, the tool we're going to use is we're going to learn is Git and GitHub. Okay. Please don't take it as though these are languages. No, the developers have the code, the language they use at coding, okay? And they select based on the application they are they want to develop. So they decide, okay, are we going to use React or we're going to use Node.js or we are using Go or we're using Python or JavaScript, whatever. Okay. But for us as DevOps, our tool at coding is a code versioning tool. And I try to explain what we mean by code versioning. Situation whereby the different developers within the team do not push to a central repo and then overwrite what they have been pushing prior to the recent push. What pushes, what commit is, we begin to know them when we dive deep into Git and GitHub today. All right. So at code, we're going to use Git and GitHub, and at build, we're going to use Maven, because our project is a Java project, so we're going to be using Apache Maven. Then the next is continuous integration. At continuous integration, we're going to be using Jenkins. Right, in our last class, I said Jenkins is going to be the corporate errand master. Okay, corporate because it's not going to be the one running around. However, it will be the one to be calling the tools to come and do what they need to do one after the other. Okay, then after continuous integration, we have continuous testing. And I said this bootcamp does not cover testing. If you look at the brochure, we do not put testing because testing is a broad discipline on its own, just like software developers, right? However, it is important to note that the tool that is commonly used at testing is Selenium. You also must have heard of JUnit as well. Okay. And then for you to be able to use Selenium, you must have a sound knowledge of Python. It's important. Okay. And then after continuous testing, we then have continuous deployment. This is where you deploy your app to uh, production. First, you deploy to staging, then you deploy to production. At staging is where the QA looks at what you've done and see if it meets need. If it doesn't, they ask you to rework. All right, that's a continuous deployment. And at deployment also, there is also a concept called configuration management. Configuration management is a phenomenon whereby you ensure that there is consistency in how the app reacts or behave at different production nodes. So we use combination of Docker containerization tool and Ansible, okay, for configuration management. As a matter of fact, I remember I promised us uh, a small write-up for us to read on this continuous this and that. Then after continuous deployment, we have continuous monitoring. This is where you monitor your production servers to ensure they are behaving normally and to also ensure your application is functioning optimally. And if there's any issue at all, feedbacks are being generated in real time and relayed to the development team. Okay. Continuous monitoring. And the last one is a Jira is a continuous feedback, right? I think that summarizes all that we discussed yesterday. I hope Mr. Angela is able to get an idea of what we discussed. So today I said we're going to begin with the first tool, which is a Git and GitHub. And mind you, all our servers are going to be in cloud. So we're going to be spinning up a Linux instance on our AWS platform. I want to encourage everybody to please stick to AWS, even when you have solid knowledge of other platforms. Okay? This will help us for homogeneity sake. All right. So again, before we now dive in, do you have any question again? Anybody have any question?
So I wanted to ask you a question.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
so my question is, you said depending on the applications that developer want to build, they use different
Languages.
Either use Java, languages, yes. So what my question is that if, for example, now the developer uses Python, with the knowledge of what we want to learn now in this using Maven, can it be applied to Java as well, Python program as well, maybe code as well?
Yes, I think so. I think Maven can also compile
I don't know if you get my
Python.
question.
Yes, I get you. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I can hear you, yes.
All right. So like I said, I think Maven can also
So you
compile
mean we can
Python.
apply the
Yes, you can.
Python, okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Oluwapolumi.
Yes, are you saying there are some languages that Maven will not be able to compile?
Yes, Maven is not built for all languages. We have other
So
building,
what?
other building tools like Gradle, like Apache Ant.
I think it's mainly
Can you
Sorry,
hear
can you come
me?
again?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So like I said, it is not all languages that Maven can build, right? There are other building tools. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
yeah, you can see yeah.
I think there's a lag, right? You're not hearing me in real time.
Yeah, the lag is serious. Serious. So make it's very sweet to ask questions.
But you can see your screen. Yeah.
You are seeing your screen though.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to see what I could do to solve the lagging issue. So what can you see on my screen right now?
Maybe
Maybe
your
so.
browser.
So can you read this to me?
Good automation tool will be used to build and manage projects within C Sharp, Ruby, Scala, and other languages.
Okay.
The Maven project is hosted by the Apache Software Foundation.
Thank you, sir.
It will
You have tried. Thank you.
only part of the Jackal.
All right. So Maven will not build.
He's saying other languages.
Yeah. So other languages does not mean all languages. Do you copy?
Yes.
Other languages does not mean all
Yeah.
languages. All right. If you're sure of Java, you're sure of C, you're sure of C Sharp. Okay. So, but the idea here is that you understand the flow of a product release. That when the coders are done and it is transferred to you, next thing you do is you build. Why do you want to build? You want to convert all the raw codes into executable files so that you can release. Okay. Now your job as DevOps is now to find suitable building tool, right? But I think Maven keeps expanding their path just to ensure that they can build more uh, programming languages. Okay. Any other question?
I think you are breaking. I see it from my end.
Very good.
It's not just
It is breaking.
Okay. I think I was thinking VAPN will help me resolve this.
Hello.
Hi. Hmm. Can you hear me? Mhm.
Last part
Well,
that
me,
is
I'm-
remaining.
I think if he finished it, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
welcome
I
back.
had to quickly do a reset of my router, and I hope it's going to be better now. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear
You
you.
can hear you.
All right. I'm sorry. Uh, the downside when I cross the seas is that I'm stuck to the ISP, whatever ISP that the platform where I am, right? But I can always do a reset. All right, so whose question were we taking before we get into the crux of the matter?
I think you showed us something before, which I read out. That was where we have.
Oh, yes, Maven. I thought I already answered that. I was trying to tell you. Okay, so someone asked if Maven builds all programming languages, and I said no, that Maven has its strengths, okay? There are other building tools like Apache and Gray too, but the most popular one, the most widely used one is Maven. Yeah, and that's because most programming or most software development are done in the languages, and Maven can build those languages. Okay, but that's not to say you can also not expand. Of course, there's always room for expansion. All right. I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah.
All right. Any other question, please? Okay, so let's get into it. Now, we are 7 here. Let us take it that the 7 of us belongs to the IT unit of our organization, saddled with software development and software release. Okay, and let's say 4 of us are coders, software programmers or developers, and the 3 of us are DevOps, development and operations. Okay? So we've been asked to go and build an app that greets people when they log in, written application, a web app. Okay. And we've met the team lead, the client that needs the application, all stakeholders, the front end, the back end, the mobile developers, the web developers, all of us sat down and we've agreed on our first job kickoff meeting. That's okay. So this is the language you're going to be using. We're going to be using Java, or we're going to be using HTML. All right. And then we've agreed on timeline as well. So the first set of people that get into action are the developers. Okay. So after the general meeting, the developers also return to their own cubicle and also have a meeting. Okay, so Mr. Angela, you're going to be the back end. Mr. Atford, your strength is front end. Mr. Bliss, your strength is database. And then we agreed, okay, so Mr. Angela, you're doing back end, use this language, use that language. And then these 4 persons returned to their respective workstation and they start the process of coding. Okay. Now, they've agreed their languages. They can decide to use VS Code as their IDE. IDE means Integrated Development Environment. Or they can decide to use an IDE in cloud like Cloud9 or any other popular one. But one thing is common to the 4 of them because they are in a team. At the end of business every day, what each person has done must be pushed to a central repository. So I either call it remote repo or central repo. remain the same thing. Okay. Now, at their own respective workstation, okay, on their machine, they would initiate Git in a directory. What is a directory in Linux? Please quickly remind me.
The folder.
Thank you, sir. In a directory dedicated to the project at hand, they will initiate Git. All right. And that directory where they have initiated Git becomes their own respective local Git repository. Okay. So within that folder is where they will keep all their files, all their programming files. They are writing it with .py Python or .html or .tf, whatever language it is within that file. And then they can now link that local Git repo with the remote repository. And that is what we're going to simulate in the next 2 classes. Depends on how fast we are able to go. Okay. So the difference between them working from their respective servers and us, that is simulating what they are doing, because as DevOps, you must understand the whole entire process from developers to monitoring of the application. Okay. So that when the bug gets to your table, you are sure if the bug is meant to remain at your table, or you shouldn't have gotten to your table at first, or you should just move on. Okay. So when you understand each phase and what should happen at each stage or each milestone, it will be easier for you to plan and prepare. Okay. So like I said, those 4 persons now, we will simulate what they are doing. But this time around, the server, which is representing their workstation, our own server in that regards, will be a server in cloud. Okay. Will be a cloud server. Are we together?
Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
let's launch an instance now. The instance, like I said, is going to be the workstation. Okay. You want to see what they say they are doing at each stage. Okay. Let's call it okay. I think I need to do a quick refresh of my AWS. Seems to be dancing naked. It will not be a bad idea if you want to be doing it as I'm doing it in class. But if you ask for my opinion, I will say you should focus on the screen, and you probably might just want to take notes. Okay. Except you have 2 screens where you can use one to watch the class live and then do it on the other. That way you would not need to be shifting pages, screens on your PC. Okay. So I want to call this one Mo Workstation. and it's going to be Linux, Ubuntu. Can we use Ubuntu 22? So, what run level does AWS keep its Linux servers? Anybody knows? Do you copy my question, please?
Come again. Come again, sir.
What run level does AWS keep its server? Linux. Do you know what run levels are?
No.
I'm not sure.
Mr. Henry, do you want to help us? What's run level?
I'm not sure at this point what run level means.
All right, sir. So run levels are states that you can boot your Linux server into. Okay. And there are 7 run levels for Linux. Run level 0 to run level 6. Run level 0 means to shut down the server. Run level 6 means to reboot the server. Run level 3 and run level 5 are similar. Run level 5 means you can boot the server and have multiple users on your Linux server. However, for run level 3, it is only multiple users and you only have access to command line interface, CLI. But for run level 5, you have multiple users and you have access to both CLI and GUI. If you've ever seen Linux GUI before, beautiful graphics, okay? And there is run level 1, which is only one user without NFS, okay? And there's run level 2 and run level 4, okay? AWS on their platform by default boots your Linux server, irrespective of the distribution of Linux, into run level 5. And that means you have multiple users. Now, in production, where there are servers with multiple users, you as either a cloud admin or an SRE or a solution architect or whatever you are, as long as you have access to the server, must ensure you protect yourself. Protect yourself such that other users on the server cannot mess with your own login details. All right. And that's the first thing we're going to be doing with our server. So I need you to please pay apt attention. Okay. Remember, I told you that this is DevOps. We will not be using small size, what's it called now? We won't be using small size servers. We're going to be using like T2, T3 medium, just to ensure that once you're done practicing, you stop the server. For me, I'm also going to be attaching elastic IP address to my own so that when I return and I start the server, I would not need to be changing IP addresses, but let's just flow. Every step I'm taking, I'll be explaining to you. So I'm going to be using T2 medium. It is 2 virtual CPUs and 4 gig memory. I'm going to be using the existing key pair. Okay. I think I have an existing VPC that I want to use instead of using the default VPC. Please, maybe you are not told in AWS. And if you are told, this is going to be a reminder. In production, anything that has to do with VPC, you must always use your own custom VPC. Never on the job, you use a default VPC, except if you're in a development stage or you're just testing something out or you're just exploring. But for all your servers or any of your infrastructures on any platform, either Azure or GCP, okay, that requires VPC, ensure you have your own custom what? VPC. Okay. So I'm going to edit this. I have, look at it, JTT. This is a VPC. I'm going to use this instead of using the default VPC. All right. And then I'm going to keep it in public subnet 2. Okay. Okay. Then existing security group. I'm going to be using this as well. Security group are locked to their respective VPCs. True or false? Configure storage. I'm going to be using, let's say, 15 gig.
True.
True. Okay. Is there anybody who doesn't understand what that means? We are here to learn
What was the
together
question,
between
please?
security groups are locked to their VPC, to their respective VPCs. True or false? Who was the person that responded, by the way? Who was the first person that
Pelumi.
responded? Huh?
Pelumi.
Pelumi, I responded.
Okay. I'm minuting some things down. 5 choco points. Mr. Atford has 5 choco points with me. Mr. Henry has 10 choco points with me from their responses yesterday. What you can do with your choco points, I'll let you know after.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Choco points are just like coins, which you can used to get some rewards. Okay. So who doesn't understand that?
The network interface is, did you select everything default or
No. You said he used a custom VPC, custom.
No. The network interface. So at yes, VPC we selected the non-default one. The subnet we created, we have
I have a subnet within that VPC already.
Correct. Yes. And then the advanced network configuration section where you were selecting network interface. Did you create a new interface or
No. I used the default within the VPC. I didn't create any new one. Okay. So when you are launching your instance, it is able to create for your instance. If you do not create it, it will give you a default ENI, Elastic Network Interface.
Okay. So for this one, did you selected what you already had? Sorry, I missed that. But okay, we can go ahead.
I'll
watch the video again.
No. Let us learn together.
Okay.
Okay. This is a learning sessions. Let's quickly go through it. Although I've launched an instance already. Okay, so let's quickly go through what you are saying. Okay, this is more workstation running. Let's go launch an instance right now. Okay, so all of this, you understand?
Yeah. Yes.
You're talking about this place, right?
Yes.
So I dropped that edit.
Correct.
And I selected my own custom
VPC.
Then within this VPC, I've created subnets, private and public subnets. Look at them here. I activated all the 3 availability zones in this region. So I created 2 subnets per availability zone. So you will find 6 subnets here, 3 private, 3 public. And I selected public, okay? And then
you selected an existing security group, right?
Yes, please. Because I've created my own security group within this VPC. Public security group, private security group. And this private security group does not...
They have access, they have this security group, 22 and 80, right?
Yes, this security group, I enabled SSH
HTTP.
port 22 and HTTP. I can also return and enable other ones as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the advanced, this is what you're referring to, right?
Correct. Yes.
I
Yes.
didn't do anything. I just leave it at the default.
Okay, that was what I was asking. Okay.
So it's going to assign an ENI and it's going to give that ENI a private IP address from the subnet side. Do you see
So that
this?
block.
Yes.
All right. Does it make sense? Can we move on?
Yes, it does. Okay.
All
So
right.
is that best practice or that you're just doing that? Is there ever going to be a situation where you might be required to, create your own network interface?
Oh,
Like
good question. Good
create a new
question.
one.
Now, when if you need to keep, let's say I have 3 servers, then I'm going to enjoy this class when I hear good questions that will help us to think, view, indulge ourselves. So I'm trying to get my whiteboard up so I can quickly explain this. All right. So let's say I'm in a development environment or even a production environment, and I'm doing different test case scenario, right? Or let's say I have a dedicated elastic IP address. Okay. If I want to make that IP address movable, then I will not keep that IP address.
You're still sharing your
Yes, it's
AWS
coming
console.
up. It's coming up. I'm
Okay,
just
okay, okay.
discussing. Okay.
Okay.
I will not keep that IP address on presenting. Good. So let's just allow the whiteboard to come up so we can get graphical. Okay, can you see my whiteboard now, everyone?
Yes, yes.
All right. I'll take this up a bit. And then I'll get a pen. So I have 3 servers. Let's say this is case 1, case 2, and case 3. These 3 servers has their own default ENI. Okay. ENI means Elastic Network Interface. Elastic Network Interface. If I have an EIP, Elastic IP address, best practice says that you do not put your EIP on the instance. Rather, you put it on the network interface of the server. Okay. The network interface that comes with the server is the primary network interface. Okay. Now, what that person that asked that question is that wants us to do is to create the second network interface, which is secondary network interface. So either I touch that part or I did not touch it. An ENI will be created, which is the primary ENI of that server. Are you with me, sirs?
Yeah.
Good. Now, this is what it means. This primary ENI, although it is detachable from the instance, however, it is not a good practice. So if you have an EIP that you probably might want to be moving across different servers, then it makes sense that those servers have a secondary what? ENI. If they have a secondary ENI, what that means is if I keep, it might even just be not secondary, it might even be just one. In fact, let's make it one. So what it means is I can keep this EIP on this ENI and I can detach it from this interface and attach it to this interface and attach it to this interface. Does it make sense?
Mm.
So why do I want to do that? I said I might be testing different case scenario. I might have put a case 1 here, case 2 here, case 3 here. Okay. And I want maybe some other setup to interact with case 1. They will communicate with that server via is what? IP address. So I can move this ENI to case 1. Are you with me?
Okay.
If I want it to interact with case 2, I can move this ENI, detach it from case 1 to what? Case 2. Without destabilizing this server because I've not touched its what? Its default ENI. Network interface. Okay. We will get to a point in DevOps. Okay, go ahead.
So what it means is that if we are using the secondary ENI now, you're bypassing the primary one.
No,
right?
You have not bypassed it. It means that this server has multiple connection points.
Okay.
All right. It is possible that a server has 3 public IP addresses. They might not be EIP, they could just be public. This is an elastic IP address. In normal IT parlance, it is static IP address, right? It means that if you stop this server, the EIP will not change. If you start it, the EIP will not change. Okay. But the one that comes, the public IP address that comes default with your servers
changes
on any of the cloud platforms, a dynamic IP address. If you stop and start the server, it will change. Okay. But if I assign an EIP to a server, if I stop the server and come back 10 years after, the EIP remains with that server.
Plenty charges.
Now that one is the caveat. It is your money that kill it.
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why I didn't open the secondary ENI is because I don't need it. So the person that asked the question, can we move on?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm waiting for. Okay, so we do not need this. I'll return back to EC2. And then I'll come to my instance. I need to copy the public IP address. Then I'll go to, I want to SSH into it. Okay, so I have prototypes here that I've always been using. So this is mobile workstation. I have a session already. I just need to edit it. I hope I'm lucky. It is okay, beautiful. It is Ubuntu. So I'm just going to edit this. Okay, I'll paste the new. I want to edit workstation and not staging. Okay, this. And then the username is still Ubuntu. Mhm. London KP. Ubuntu. Then let's connect. So what do you guys prefer, Temios or Mobile Extam or Putty?
Yeah, me I prefer VS Code.
Okay, that's good. How many sessions of server can you have on your VS Code?
I can open three or four anytime.
Okay.
Just open the back.
All right. So RL. Uh.
I wanted to say we have always been using Temios.
Okay.
We've not used me personally for work. I enjoy using what's it called?
Putty.
No, not
VS
Putty,
Code.
Mobile Extend.
Mobile
Mobile Extend.
Extam. Yeah. I like Mobile Extam too, but Mobile Extam does not work on what's it called? Other OS apart from Windows.
Yeah.
Mobile Extam only works on Windows, but Putty works on Android, it works on Mac OS, it works on Windows, it works on Solaris, it works on Linux
Yeah, I
operating
like
system.
Putty too, like after Mobile Extend Putty. This
Did I say
Temios.
Putty? Sorry, Temios, I mean. Putty also does not work on other OS apart from Windows too.
Yeah.
I mean, my first love is always Mobile Extam, but then I got into a
Mac.
bigger work environment and I realized, okay, yeah. So I've worked in places where all their workstations are Linux. Linux. Any computer you turn on Linux. You know? All right. So do you see this? U-R shows what? Run level 5. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what that means is, oh, we are 10 in class now. Beautiful. Anyway, what that means is the 10 of us here can be users on this what? On this server with Ubuntu. Okay. And that also means one of the 10 of us can decide to be mischievous, be the Judas, and misbehave. Okay. So to ensure that we protect ourselves, or even if everybody does not want to protect themselves, you yourself should protect yourself. Put some special settings on the system. Okay. The first thing we do is you password your user. This Ubuntu is not passworded because it's the default user. Of course, you know that when you create a user, you can decide to give it password or not. So let's password this user. What do? We say sudo password Ubuntu. And then I'm giving my password. This. Let me clear screen. I've given it a password. The next thing you do is you authenticate the password. When you authenticate the password, what that means is anybody that wants to SSH into this server must always provide the password of the user they want to sign into the server as. Okay? From wherever you are now listening to me, if I give you my public IP address of this server, and I also give you the private key pair of this server. Are you aware that you can SSH into this server?
Yeah.
Are you aware?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I give you the name of any user on the server, either it is Ubuntu, or let's say I've created for everyone in this class, I've created the user on this server. Okay. But when you authenticate password, it means that even when one of us decide to give an outsider the public IP, any name of the user apart from himself, and the private key pair, the private key file, there is a pair, public and private. I'll be showing you as we move on. And the private key file, that person can can SSH into our server as any one of us and do any nonsense. And whatever nonsense that person has done will be logged under the name of the person that was signed in as. So Mr. Atford can decide to give to someone somewhere my name because I'm a user on the server, then the public IP address of the server, and then the private key file because he has access to it. And that person SSH into the server as me. And that person begins to mess with the server. All right. When they check the log file, they will see that it was I that signed in and did all that nonsense. And computers does not lie. It is your name that is there. You cannot tell anybody otherwise. So what do? We we authenticate password on the server. So if you want to sign in as anybody, you must provide as another measure of security the password of that person. Otherwise, you cannot what? SSH. So let's go do that. So there's a file. We cd into root etc ssh. Okay. If I list, look at this file sshd_config. Let's vi it. Because it is owned by root, we're going to use sudo vi sshd_config. Okay, look at it. We are scrolling down to where it has password authentication.
I think you've passed it.
I've passed, right?
I think it's up a bit. I saw something like password.
Okay, it is below because I know public key. Look at it, public key authentication. As your, we look at it here. To
Okay.
disable tunneled clear text password, change to no here. But if you want to do what? Password authentication. Currently, it is commented out, so we uncomment it. Yes. So what does this do for us? It means that anybody that wants to SSH into this server must also provide the what? The password of the user that such person wants to SSH into the server as. So I'm going to save, escape, right click bank, enter. Anytime you touch an SSHD, a daemon file, what do? You restart. So you see what? Sudo systemctl restart SSHD. And that's it. So if I give you all those things and ask you to SSH into this server, it will ask you for password. If you don't have it, it bounces you. Go ahead, Mr. Polumi, I can see your hands up.
So, I know for a particular server, you can have several users having access to that server.
Yes.
So this SSH of a thing, this passwording that you just showed us now,
Authenticating password.
this authenticating password that you just showed us now,
Yes.
is this done by the admin, like the person that created the server and added users to it, or it can be done by anybody, even the users?
It can be done by anybody, but
Okay.
it is better done by the admin. If you find it undone, let the admin know.
Cool.
Do you copy?
Yeah, copy.
All right.
But the SSH directory, is that a directory that's accessible by everyone?
If you use sudo, I
Yes.
think.
If you have access to the server, you can SSH.
Yeah.
That's the roots.
Yeah, because most times when servers are created, the users are not allowed to run sudo.
Oh, yeah, beautiful question. Thank you for saying that. Yes, so if you're an admin on a server, it depends on your job, but an admin, you're probably an elevated user.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an elevated user, it means you're able to use sudo. So it means you're able to access that.
Okay,
Okay.
so that takes me back to the security, the whole essence of this exercise right now.
Yeah.
So if an admin creates an instance like this, and then the users do not have the rights to run
Sudo.
sudo on that exactly.
Mhm.
Now, how are they able to impersonate someone?
Okay, so they may not be able to impersonate anybody since they do not have rights. However, they have, if they do not have access to the private key file, all right, they may not be able to. Okay, but what if they have access to the private key file? Is it not better to be safe? No, sorry.
Yes, absolutely. I get the whole essence of doing it. But I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, if they have access to the private key file, like you said, but they don't have the rights to run sudo, would they be able to impersonate someone?
They're
No,
not
they won't be
sudoers.
able to.
They will not be
If
able
they are
to.
not, if they are not sudoers, they will not be
Yes.
able to.
Yes.
However, you may not know how many persons are sudoers and are not.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So, but it is simple as saying I go to VI, no, if I say get ent group, these are all the group in this. If I go to sudo, see sudo here. So far, Ubuntu is the only elevated
Sudo.
user on this server. Okay. Anybody can view this group file. Okay. So I'm able to see that Ola Atford is a sudoer. Jason is a sudoer. I just need to go and target when they signed in at their station.
Okay.
And do something nasty.
Okay.
1, 2.
Like physically goes try to see what their password is and stuff like that.
No, you wait till when they are signed in at their workstation and run a command. It is very easy to do nasty thing from the command line interface.
Okay.
Did you get?
Yeah.
I can just decide that their station is on and they're not doing nothing, and I can give chmod 777 to a file. Then they path to a file, and I tap enter. and be on my way. And you know what this means?
All permission.
I
Yeah,
just
it's gonna
decide to
modify.
make
It's
a
gonna give
particular file
yes
accessible to everybody
to everybody. Yes.
on the server. And then I can now return to my own workstation and begin to do any nasty thing I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will not think it is not possible. You will not think, why will anybody do that?
Yeah. But
Oh,
people
my
are crazy. I
people.
know. Yeah.
Who are
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah. 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 I mean,
All right.
I get it, but sometimes we live in a very we are sometimes very naive, right? We trust people even though we don't want to, or even though sometimes we act like we don't, but we really do
Yeah.
trust people,
Yes.
right? So knowing these things is good to have it. So as a security best practice, we should do these things
Yes, please.
to
This
to
is
to
very
to avoid
important.
stories that touch.
Better to be safe than to, I am
Yeah,
sorry, I
sorry.
don't know. And in
Mhm.
fact, I tell people, you know, I troubleshoot to people and they will say, but I did this and I say, see, don't argue with computer. This is program. It does not have a reasoning of its own. It's not sentimental. If you don't find it there, then you didn't put it there. If it is there, then something
Yes.
has put it there. So if they trace it to
Mm.
your username, your user account, then it is you. It's as simple as that. Go and
Unfortunately.
submit your badge on your way home. I mean, all right, let's work,
Yeah.
guys. So we've passworded the server. The important thing you do is that you also update your server. So we say sudo, this is a distro under Debian. So we say sudo apt update, double ampersand sudo apt upgrade flag y. Okay. I think Ubuntu always come with Git pre-installed. We're going to confirm that. Now we need Java. Most of the DevOps tools requires Java. Your Git, your Jenkins, your Maven, your Tomcat, they all require Java. So the next thing we're going to do after now is to install Java on this PC. But we might just confirm first if Java also come pre-installed with this server. So how do we confirm if we have Java? We run Java hyphen version. There's no Java here. So can we install Java? There are different Javas here. So let's install Java 11 JDK. So we say sudo apt install default JDK Java. I'm trying to get JDK Java Development Kit. Okay.
So what we are currently doing now is in preparation for what DevOps tool. What are we trying to
Beau-
install? So these are like
Beautiful.
prerequisites for what?
Beautiful. I like that. Yeah, we are trying to get this system ready. Sudo apt install
System.
default JDK. So we're installing Java. Now, the next thing after Java installation is we're going to declare Java. We're going to define variable. What does it mean to define variable? So if any tool on this server wants to use Java, we are going to tell beforehand where to go and find Java. So if I run Java hyphen version now, so you see that we now have OpenJDK 11.0.24. Okay. And I know where Java always is installed. It is always in user library JVM. Okay. So if I say cd root user library JVM and I look at the Java we just installed. Where is it? Look at it here. All right. So even if we cd into this Java 11 autocomplete, and we list, this is all that we have. So what do we really need here? We need the directory, the full path. So to get the full path,
Yep.
to get the full path, we know we use our print working directory. Okay, so we copy all of this. To copy in Temios, Control Shift C has copied. Then return
Sorry,
back.
I'm not sure if you got my question, the last question I asked.
What was the question, sir?
I was asking what we're doing right now, these prerequisites
Yes.
that we're installing right now. What are we
Yes.
what are we preparing for? Are we installing this in preparation for what DevOps tool are we trying to install?
Git, please. That's what we say we're going
Okay,
to be doing.
okay,
Did
Git, okay.
anybody copy it when I said we're starting with Git and GitHub?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So I said,
Okay.
let's fortify our server. We put password on the user, the authenticated password, and then we restarted SSHD because anytime you touch a daemon file, you should what? You should restart. Then the next thing is I said, most of the DevOps tools requires Java. Okay, so we need to install a Java JDK. So now we are trying to install Java, which we've done. Okay, the part where it was installed, we had to go and copy it because we want to define variable. And I explained that that means if any tool on this server needs to use Java, it knows where to go and call Java. That's what I mean by defining variable. You did something like that when you installed Terraform on your Windows. Did you edit any environmental
Yeah.
variables? You copy
Yeah,
paths
yeah.
and pasted somewhere?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
similar to that is what we are doing here. Okay, so what you are saying to your Windows is, if any tools needs to call Terraform on your PC, this is the path where Terraform is. All right, so let's return to our user home. Then if I list, you see this dot profile, that's vi dot profile, and this is the file where we are going to declare variable. Okay, so to declare variable here, what we need to do is come to the end of file. Okay, so another favorite question. Which one is your favorite? VI or Nano?
Oh,
Sir?
I use
Nano.
VI. I use VI.
Okay. I mean, as a IT person, you hardly have favorite. You just have to be versatile. So that anywhere they drive you to, you drive them. Okay. So this is how to declare variable. Export Java. The common name is Java underscore home equals to, you paste that path, the absolute path to Java. Okay. And then you also now declare
So
the variable
there are
for
no space between the equal and the distance slash, Abi? No
no, sir,
space.
there's no space. Yes. You see, this one as well does not have space also. Okay. Oh, this. Then we declare Java underscore. No. What am I doing? Java underscore home / pin. Look at these two lines. Do you think it's cumbersome? There's nothing here. There's nothing that you cannot find on Google. So nothing that is abracadabra in this space. Are you looking at it? Do you want to study it?
Sorry, how did you get to this place?
Okay, let me quickly duplicate this session. Then continue. Okay, so I list the content of the user home and I say this dot profile. And you see this file, sir?
Yeah.
Say vi dot profile. Okay, it's not opening here because it is opened in another session. Do you see
Okay.
this? But that's how we get there.
Okay, profile. Okay.
Okay, then you come to the end of file and then put this export java underscore home. You paste the part we copied of where we have our Java, then you do this. Okay. By the time
So I
we
don't.
install,
I'm confused. What are we trying to achieve with this? With this.
I have said it twice already. Please, let's pay attention to class. I said we need to define variable. We need to tell every user of Java on this server where to find Java.
Java. Okay.
Okay. So by the time we install Git, at the back end, if Git needs Java, it knows where to find it. It's going to find path. Okay. And once it sees Java underscore home, it will now know this is Java underscore home. The same way, if we declare for, by the time we install Maven, okay, if we install for Maven, we will put export Maven underscore M2 underscore home, which is Maven keyword. Then we will come here and add for Maven as well, the same way we add for Java. Okay, something like this. M2
So
underscore
it looks for
home.
parts.
Yes, it will look for path first and
So from
see
parts,
there is
you now
Java
see.
in path. Then it will now go and find, it will now direct it. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is where to find it. The same way for Maven,
Lovely.
this way.
Lovely. Makes sense.
Okay. So do you copy that, sir? Do you know what we are doing here now?
Yes, I got that. But I wanted to ask, probably
Please go
maybe
ahead.
if I want to search for how to write this, maybe on Google, this parts, like what I don't know,
What
like how
you
am I going to
search
search
for?
for?
You
Like, is it
simply say
exports?
how to define variable on Ubuntu.
Okay.
Good question, because the way you will do it on a distro of Linux under Debian package is not the same way you will do it on a distro of Linux under RPM. Those are two major package managers in Linux. Red Hat package manager, Debian package manager. Okay, so how we define variable for distros under Debian is not the same as how we define for distros under, yeah. But I'll also show you how we do it for, maybe we'll pick one of the servers we're going to use along the line. We'll make it Amazon Linux, which is a distro under RPM.
Okay.
Are we good to go?
Yeah.
All right, so we are done here. The next thing we do is we save, right? Quit bang. Now, when you touch a file like this, it's important that you activate the thing you've done inside the file. How do you do that? You run source.profile. Okay, you run source.profile, meaning that activate the what you would do if you're not running source is that you will restart the server. So that when you restart the server, everything takes effect automatically. That is common in Windows. Windows will tell you start the server, and that's why most enterprise prefers Linux. Linux is light, it's easy to use. Okay. So you don't need to restart the server, just run source.profile. Okay. At times, if you make a mistake inside that file, if you run source.profile, it tells you there's something that is wrong. But if you returns nothing like this, it means you are good to go.
So are you saying
Gentlemen,
in cases where
Get an
you
error.
run sudo systemctl, you would as well run source and
no,
it would
pseudo-systemctl is for a specific service,
The process, yeah.
specific
okay,
process.
to restart
Okay.
the process.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So we clear this, and then we need to install Git. It's simple. I know there's Git that comes pre-installed with Ubuntu. I don't know about other distro, but let's check. Git hyphen version. Do you see? So we have Git version 2.34.1. But let's say it doesn't come installed. What do we do? Sudo apt install what? Git flag y. That will be the command. But see what it's telling us. It says Git is already the newest what? Version. So that means we're good to go. Now remember at the beginning, I told us that the four of us that are the developers, we go to their respective workstations and they will create a what? A local Git repo. Do you remember I said that at the beginning? For those who are here,
Yeah.
we started this story. So now let's create our own Git repo. Let's say make directory Git project. Or let's say make directory project. Okay, so we cd into project and then we initiate Git here. Okay, to
You're not going to
initiate
write Git.
init.
Git init. Is
Git
it init
init.
Git?
No, it is Git init. Thank you. Okay. It says initialized empty Git repo. So this project directory now becomes our what?
Maybe
Our
your local repo.
local Git repo. Is there anybody who is unclear up to this point? Do you have anyone who is up to this point not clear what we are doing?
Look, I want to do ls minus a.
There's
ls
nothing in this.
flag a.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So that
this is
minus
showing
a
that.
is flag. Okay. So that when you speak with prospective employers, let them know you are using the right diction. This thing you call minus a in Linux is flag.
Flag A.
Yes, sir.
Flag.
FLAG. Okay. ls flag L. Okay. ls flag LA.
So the flag is the minus sign, right?
Yes. It
What about the
could be
underscore?
minus in mathematics. It could be hyphen in literature. But in Linux, it is flag.
What about the underscore?
Underscore is underscore.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let me see. Let me look for incoming.
And in
Next.
PowerShell, it's property.
Yes. Let's start incoming. No manual. Let's okay. Manual get entry. Okay. You see them? Options. Hyphen. They are all what? Flags. Okay. All
But
right.
in those places that you have two
Double
like
hyphens.
double
flag.
hyphens, yeah. So you just say double flags. Okay.
Yes, double flag. And what it means is instead of one word, when you see double flag, it means you spell out. So when I wanted to check the version of Java, I used Java hyphen what?
Double flag
Version, double flag version. I could have said Java flag V.
Flag V, yeah.
Does it make
So you're
sense?
spelling out.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
quit. So now that we have initiated Git here, if I run Git status, it tells me we are on branch master and no commit yet. Okay. It is only within the folder. It is only within the folder that I have initiated Git that you can run Git command. If I go out of this folder and I run Git status, not a what?
Not a Git repo.
Git
Git
repository.
repo. So when you get this kind of error, know that you are not in the folder where Git has been
Initialized.
initiated. Yeah, initialized. All right. So we'll take 10 minutes break now. When we now come back, we'll now discuss Git before we get into working with Git. You need to tell us what Git does and what it does not, and different stages into Git. So let's take 10 minutes break, ergonomic break. So you might want to stand and stretch your leg, drink water if it is necessary to.
All right. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about Git. It's a popular version control tool. Okay, another literature you see it as VCS, version control system, all right? And it's used basically for three things: tracking code changes, tracking who made changes, and coding collaboration. We use Git to track code changes, to track who make these changes, and it also code collaboration. Now that is what we use Git for. However, what does it do? I have about 5 of them, which is not exhaustive. You can also explore that, but I'll quickly share with you. You can use Git to manage projects with repositories. Before you, we've created our local Git repo. What else does Git do? It can clone a project to work on a local copy. Let's say we have a project in the remote repo. We can clone it into our local copy, which we are going to do. All right. What does Git do? You can control and track changes with staging and committing. What staging is, what commit is, I'll share with you practically shortly. What does Git do? It can pull the latest version of the project to a local copy. Okay. What does it mean to pull? Get into that. We'll learn the commands as well. It can also push local updates to the main project, which is, let's say, to our remote repo. Okay, you can also branch, you can merge. You can branch and you can merge to allow for work on different parts of the project. I mean, lot of things that Git does. Now, to start working with Git, the first thing you do is you initiate Git in a folder. And that folder automatically becomes the local Git repo. And when you initiate Git in a folder, there's always an hidden folder created. And that hidden folder is what Git uses to keep track of changes that happens in that folder. It is similar to your TF state file in Terraform. Do you remember? Are you told about the TF state file? Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when this folder wasn't here until we initiated Git in this directory. So this is the hidden folder. I hope you know by now that Ubuntu does not hide folders. Okay. If this were to be a distro under Red Hat, ordinary LL, you will not see these guys because a dot before anything in Linux means what? Hidden folder. Okay, but Ubuntu doesn't do any of those. Yeah, maybe in higher versions they might begin to do it, but for now, so this is a hidden folder, and this is the folder that Git uses to track whatever changes happens within this local Git repo. Okay. Now, when you create a file in Git, or when you create a directory in Git, or when you change the content of a file, you either add a file or change or modify a file or you delete something, Git considers that as modification. It's the reason I'm giving you all this story so that when we get into it, you will understand better. And when there's a modification, then you need to stage such modification. So I'm saying either you add a file, add means create, or you delete a file, or you change a file. This considers it as what? You have modified that file. Now, when you modify a file, the next thing you do is to stage the file. Okay. And then after you stage the file, you commit the file. Okay. Staging means that you are asking Git to begin to keep track of whatever happens to that file. You add it to the stage environment. And commit means you have permanently saved what you have done on that file. Okay. Git will allow you to see the full history of every commit and whoever is doing the commit. And you can revert back to a previous commit. So you now understand why we say it is a version control system now. So it means that if there are 9 commits, you can revert back to the 7th commit or to the 8th commit. Okay. Now, Git does not store separate copy of every file in all the commits. What it only does is it will keep track of the changes that you make in each commit. So if I have a file called london.txt and I modify that file 10 times and I commit it 10 times as well, okay, I will not have 10 files. I will still have just one file, london.txt. However, within that file, I can revert back to the 7th commit on that file. Does it make sense or I need to explain further?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. Now let's get into action.
Can you please explain further?
Does it mean you the command you want to run to go back to self commit, right?
Yes, everything is
Okay,
command in this interface.
it's okay. Copy it.
Okay, the person I want me to explain for that, let me quickly do that, sir. If I have a file, let me call it index.html. Sorry. touch
Touch.
index.html. This is the file now. If I stage this file, meaning I'm asking Git to begin to keep track of what that happens to this file. Now, I just added this file. Git considers it as it has been modified. If I delete it, it considers it as it has been modified. If I change the content, that means a change happens to it. It considers it as what? It has been modified. Whenever you do a modification, you must stage. Staging is simple. I will show you. But I want to explain commit. Commit says, if I modify this file 7 times and I commit it after each staging, okay, it does not mean I will now have 7 copies of this file. No, I will still have 1 copy. However, I will have the commit record. So if I want to go back to the 5th commit, what happens is Git will return this file to what it was as at the 5th commit. Does it make sense to that person now?
Yes.
All right. So let's start working with Git. We have initialized it in our project. Then we want to add a file. I've added an empty file, which is index.html. Why don't we keep something inside? Index.html. Okay, so let's declare that this is going to be, what document type is this? It's going to be, okay. This is going to be, okay. Urban. Okay. We're giving it a title. Can we also give it no, let's just not waste time. Let me just close this. I mean, you don't have to know all of this because you're not a developer, but if you know it's not a problem. Can we put a body? And let's say heading 1. Let's say welcome to DevOps class. Okay. And then can we give a paragraph? First one. If you can see this, we are on Tech landing page. I think we've tried. So let me close this body. Then let's close this HTML. Okay. And then we save. Right quit bang. Okay. Now, to check the status of your Git project, just run the simple command git status. Now, when you initiate Git in a folder, it automatically keeps you on the master branch. Are we together?
Yeah.
Now it says untracked files. Just how many? Just one. Index.html. It says use git add followed by the name of file to include in what will be committed. So to begin to ask Git to start tracking this file, it means we are going to add this file to the staging environment. We're going to stage this file. Please, the stage here is not the same as the stage we were talking about during the CI/CD pipeline, please. This one is staging for Git. So staging here means that we are telling Git to start tracking changes that happen to this file. Okay. And the commands to stage a file or to start tracking a file is git add the name of the file, index.html. If you have more than one file, are you then going to be typing all of them? Let's say you have included about 24 files here. Remember I told you, each developer have at their workstation a local Git directory. And it is within that Git directory that they are writing their codes in their agreed languages. So this is one of it. So this developer now wants Git to begin to track changes he is making to this file. So the command is what? Git add
question, please. So
index.html. Please go ahead, sir.
you said something about they all they have a local Git directory. My understanding is or was that they were all working from the same server that we created, right? But have access to the same directory. Is that correct or wrong?
No, sir. Anybody wants to help us with that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, I think the developer have their own different they have their own different server with the project with title of the project on it. Maybe it can be like they have no projects separately on it. So they work separately. They work separately, but they cannot put to central repository later on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you copy that, sir? Their server is their computer that they might decide to take home after close of work. They are in an office, right?
I get that. Yes.
And everybody have in front of his own on his at his work desk a computer. And on that their computer is where they are coding. Some uses VS Code, some uses whatever. But whatever you are using, right? You are doing it inside a local Git repo.
Local Git repo.
Because the aim is that whatever you have done at the end of the day, you push it to a collaboration platform like GitHub. So we have created a remote repo on GitHub where you push it to. If you do not put your files within Git, it cannot get to GitHub. Do you get it? It is only Git that can communicate with GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab.
So before we started this DevOps class, right? We've been committing files to GitHub, and what we did was we created a new repository in GitHub, right? And then we cloned it. We cloned it to our local machine, and then whatever we did, we just of course we ran the add, commit, and whatever command push to GitHub, right? Now in this case that we're doing Git, right? We created this server. The assumption is that all the developers will have access to this server and this repository, this location.
No. What I said is that we are modeling what happens in a physical or a virtual office. That developers, either they work in the same office or across the world, they have computer in front of them. And on that their computer, they create a local what?
Okay, so everything happening right now, is on an individual developer basis, right? Per user basis.
At this point, yes, sir.
Okay. So this is not like we're creating something that multiple people have access to.
No.
Got it. Got it. So, but if we decide not to use Git and we decide to use our just our local folder file system, right? And then we decide to push directly to GitHub, is that possible?
That's what we want to do here.
What we are doing now.
All the files that we generate inside this project, we push it to GitHub at the end of the day.
Yes, so this is going to GitHub. What I'm saying is our parallel lesson before this one, we didn't have to use Git. We did it, we went directly to
You guys
GitHub.
started on GitHub because of what it needed you to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
In this case,
Okay.
we are starting from your own.
I think I know the confusion. I need the confusion here now. I think I know, let me just come in a bit. I need the confusion that Harry. I think what we did that area, what we do is that we use our local machine, our local system. But this time around, we're using Savannah as our local system. The server now is serving as our local system now, individually.
Okay.
You have also
Okay.
from here
Okay.
now, we now work separately and push to the Git. But that time we only use our own system. He didn't use server for us. He used our local, he installed it in our local system. We're not using it from there to that.
Yeah.
That was it for us.
Because what we did basically was we created a new repository. We cloned our repository to our local machine, which is our whatever server or whatever machine we have. And then as we saved our projects, we were able to commit and then we were able to save, commit, and do whatever we need to do.
Yes.
That interaction was there like that. So what we're saying basically now is if each say we work in an environment where we get provisioned an EC2 instance like we've done here. Oh, no, not the EC2, an Ubuntu machine.
Yeah.
Then in this case, we have to use Git, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All
right.
But
okay, that's fine. Okay.
It is possible that in production, or let's say in an office, you're not even using a cloud server. You can still use your computer as your local workstation.
Yeah.
So you just install Git on it. And when you're done, you push to a central repo. In your own case, every one of you created their own GitHub account. It's not so.
We downloaded Git on our local system from what Moyo taught us. Like we downloaded Git, then after which we added it to
we install Git,
our repository.
And then you push it to a remote repo, right?
Yeah, that was what we were doing.
Did all of you push to the same repo or your own individual repo?
No, we had our own repos, yes, but obviously we can share access with other users if we wanted to.
So nothing is wrong with what you have done. All right. In this case, what I'm saying, I said it earlier that in our own case, instead of using our system as our workstation, we are going to use a virtual server. Does it make sense? Instead of you initiating Git on the laptop in front of you, no, you will go and use a laptop in cloud.
Yes, which is what we're doing right now. Okay,
exactly.
I'm clear. I just wanted to clarify that aspect, but I'm clear on it now. I was thinking this was a shared directory. Like we create an instance, multiple people have access to it, and then everything we're doing. Like if I need to come to this index of HTML file.
With us, sir? Is that Mr. Henry?
Yes, this is me. Yes.
Maybe you are decided at that point. I said it that I'm mimicking a situation whereby we have 4 developers within the team. And each developer will now go to their own respective
devices.
Desk. Okay. And then initiate Git on their own computer within the folder. At that point, I ask, what does directory mean? Somebody answered and said folder.
Folder. Yes.
Okay. I said that at the close of business, what individual has done on their own respective whatever, they will push it to a remote, which is central repo. That's what we want to mimic.
Okay. That it makes sense now. Sorry for the drawback. Sorry for the drawback.
No problem. It's good that you're getting clarification. And that's how it works in life. Okay. When developers come, they collaborate. Everything you do, it remains on your system, except you push it to the what? To the remote repo. And the DevOps guy does not have any business with whatever you have on your local repo. The DevOps guy, when the head of the development team gives him a thumbs up or give the DevOps team a thumbs up, goes to the remote repo to go and pick what all of you as pushed on the master branch there. We'll get into that. So I'm just trying to show you in beautiful stepwise order how it works in a typical life setting. Okay. Although in this class as well, we will not be pushing to a central. You will push to your own repository. I will show you how to push to your own repository. Okay.
But can we simulate a central repo that I want to push to?
Okay, so well, we can push to the. I can make the repository public, and all of us will push to it. Okay, just for simulation's sake. However, I want you to be the owner of the repositories for further practice. Did you get?
No, we can have that personally from our end.
Because if you push to my own
class.
repo and tomorrow I wake up, I make the repo private. And let's say, for instance, you deleted your own local Git
code.
Did you get? Because you are using a virtual cloud server. So you will be like, let me go and clone from the central repo I pushed to, and I've bounced everybody. Did you get? But you will follow what just at every stage that you are unclear, just as Mr. Henry ask, and then we'll put you through so that when you do it yourself, you understand this is not going to be do as I do. No, that's not how to learn. You understand every bit of command and why you are doing what you are doing. That's
so
when
that's
learning is complete.
That's why I'm asking this seemingly redundant questions.
It is
so
very
please, everyone
important
should
that
pardon
you
me.
ask. It is important that everybody should ask, please. All right. So I'm sharing with us how now to stage a file. Okay. If it is just one file, git add the name of that file. Then if you run git status again, you will now notice that it no longer says untracked files. Rather, it now says changes to be what? Committed. I tell us to stage a file means you want Git to begin to monitor whatever changes happen to that file, that is tracking, or to stage it. But once you stage a file, you are now saying the next thing is you want to commit the file. Okay. How about we add one more file or two more files so that we can see different ways to stage multiple files. Okay. Now let me tell us about tracked files. Untracked files means that you have the file within your directory, but you have not added it to the repository. Okay. Tracked files means you have added it to the repository, then it can begin to monitor the changes to the file. Okay, so can we add vi readme.markdown? Thank you. Okay. So here we are going to put documentation of project progress. Good. Okay. Can we also have a cascade sheet for our index.html? Let's try it. So we say vi. What do we let's use green.
Mind to clear your screen. Mind to clear your screen. It's adding something.
Okay, sir.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'll say body. I just want to create something that you can change the background to.
Can we have these files? Can we have these files created from somewhere and just uploaded into that directory?
If you are doing it from here, from Temios, you may know, but if you are doing it from VS Code, it's easy. Just copy and paste. But even in Temios here, you can just create the file, go copy it somewhere. You know?
Yeah, I'm saying because at this point now, the time is going to take for you you're not getting autocomplete. You're not getting any no suggestions.
That's
nothing.
because I'm mimicking that I am just coding. That's what I'm. You know. But if you already have them somewhere, why not? You go just copy and paste. It's simple, yeah. But you don't even have to do all of this. For me, this
Did
is
you use
like
H1?
Oversabi. Yes, I
Mm.
used H1 in my.
Your header.
Yes, I can go show you.
I just wanted to confirm.
Oh, yes, I used H1. Right? And let's see, use 20 pixel for
Yes.
me. Okay, and then, so enough of my Oversabi. Let's save and then let's, okay, right click bank. Okay, can we even modify the index.html? Insert. So by now you can see that VI is my
Body and H1.
favorite as well. You seen the H1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just added the dots just to modify. Okay. Let's clear screen. Then let's run it status. So here we have two files that has not been staged at all. Okay.
Tracked.
And we have a file that was modified but needs also to be what for commit. Now these are three files we're talking about. How then do we stage multiple files? 3 or 4 ways. Git add, you might say dot. Dot in Linux means this current what? Working directory. It means add everything in this what? Current working directory. Or you can say git add -all, meaning add all. Okay. Or you say git add capital A. It also means add all, or git add asterisk. This is wildcard. It means everything and anything. So any of these 4 commands is going to add everything here. So anyone you want to use, we've added all. So if I run git status, you now see that we have now staged all the files. Okay. And then after staging, I told us the next thing is what? To commit. Right? So let's say we are done for today and we want to move from staging environment to commit. Commit, I told us, is like you want to save a save point. And it is a project, it is a point within your project that you can go back to. Let's say you find something you need to correct or you need to modify. Okay. And when we do a commit, we always include a commit message. Remember, I told us at the beginning that Git does 3 things. It tracks code changes, who made the changes, and coding collaboration. The coding collaboration means it can connect with collaboration platform like GitHub, like Bitbucket, like GitLab. So before we begin to commit, it makes sense as standard practice that we tell Git who we are. Okay, so how do you now introduce yourself to Git? Were you shown?
No.
Okay, Git
Yeah.
config
Username.
global user dot name, you string at, say mobile tech. Okay, let me put it full. I like to use the username of my GitHub account, Mobile Technologies. Okay, and then you can also tell this guy as well your email, okay, at gmail.com. So if I ask Git about username, it returns that, or about email, it returns that as well. So now can we go commit? Commit, we said, is a what? A saving point, which you can revert to. So how then do we commit? Git commit flag M, a commit message. You also string that. Different teams agree on what their commit message will always be. But I always try to use date and time. Is that correct? Date and what? Date
Time.
and time. Okay. So hello everyone.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Everything blank out. I thought
What's the
missed
meaning
you.
of the M you
Message.
added?
Message.
A
Okay,
commit message. Okay.
that's the email and the mail. The name, username and the email.
No. The commit means we want to save everything we've been doing so far. It's a save point, which we can always revert to if we find any bug or we need to go back to a particular commit.
Yeah, I understand that part. Is the message that the M you put there indicating
No.
message.
Commit message, meaning that this commit I want to do now, what's the message for it? So that when I'm looking at the list of commits I have, I can be able to say, okay, this commit here, this is what happened. Maybe I can say like modified CSS file. Okay. This is a commit message. So if I have a list of 7 commits and I'm looking for what the place where I first modified CSS file, this message is what will save me. Did you get now?
Yes.
Okay. So you can use custom text, but I prefer to use date. Okay. So it's going to be 13 10 24 underscore 22 23. Okay. So that is for me. It's not for there's no standard or there's no rule that says that's what you must use. Okay, so like that, and then I have committed. If I run git log, you see it says this author Urban Technologies with this email did this commit on this day, and this is the commit message. Okay, so your own commit message can be a real message like, okay, what you did. It can be like, I work on so and so. Is it making sense now?
Yeah. But
Okay.
don't you think the fact that there's a timestamp already in the commit message makes your naming convention a bit, I don't know.
Like I said, this is my own and I'm not forcing it on you.
No,
Okay.
you are basically our mentor. So as you are saying it's your own, fine. There will be someone amongst us there that this will imprint this will imprint on. So I'm
Okay.
just because the way I'm seeing it, I feel like this is
Since
something
there's a
that we can
timestamp
combine.
already, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
don't worry. For that commit, we will now use literature now. Okay.
Message.
We use Shakespeare's literature. Is that fair?
No, what I mean is I
I
think
understand
it's
what you're saying. I'm just trying to be
I get you.
funny. I get it. Since there's a stamp here, then you should actually use something else here. That's what you're trying to say. And you're right. You're right. Okay, so uh let's do some things just to show you around Git a bit. Okay. Let's say touch uh main.py. Okay, so vi main.py insert, say bottle 3. I don't have anything here. I just want to keep something just to make you see some things. That's one. And then let's say vi read me. Say just add something to show class something. Don't mind my whatever. Right, quit bank. I've created one new. I've modified one. What else have I done? Okay. Is there anyone I can delete here? Not yet. Okay, so if I run git status and I do -, short, okay, M means modified file, okay. I've not shown you -, short. I only show you status. And status always give you a lot of stories, okay. There are cases whereby you have a lot to do, and all you do is there was a time Lady Anne got a job with a Malaysian company. She shared that for 2 weeks, all she was doing was on Git, a lot of Git. She said, Wafemi, I learned more than 100 Git commands in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Guys, they want
there
to
are
wonder.
many.
They want
You
to
have
wonder.
shit.
You know, but it doesn't mean you have to go and learn 100 Git commands. I mean, if you
No,
know,
of
it's no
course.
problem. But it might end up that all you'll be doing with Git is just to push, to pull, and to clone. Okay. All right. So you see all these plenty stories. You don't want to see them. Just run git status - short. M tells you what is a modified file.
Modified file.
Double question mark tells you it's an
Untracked.
untracked. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you see A, right? A tells you it is a
Staged.
file that has been staged. Good. And if you see D, D means what?
Deleted.
Beautiful. So I'm sure we all copy that. Okay. So we've seen how to modify, we've seen how to stage, we've seen how to commit files. Okay. And then if you run git log, you've seen what is going to show you. Okay. Can we attempt branching now? Anybody have any question? Okay. So why do you want to branch? Branch means a separate version of your repository. Currently, if I run git branch, we have just one branch, which is the master branch. Now, let's say all that we have here, all these files, they are all on master branch. And I want to check how my web app will look like if I play around this .css file, cascade sheet style. Okay, if I want to use like a blue theme, I want to use like a white and black theme. Okay, but I don't want what I want to do to affect this main file. What I will do is I will branch out. So when you branch, everything within the file where you create everything within the repo, which is assumed to be the branch, the master branch
Master
now,
branch.
where you branch out from, will automatically be in the new what?
New
In
branch.
the new branch. And all that you have in the new branch are not dependent of what you have in the what?
The
In the
master
main
branch.
branch.
So is it that you are making a duplicate copy in another folder?
Excellent. I like that. But it's not in another folder. It will still be, you will still have just one project.
Yeah,
However,
under
two
me,
branches
like under your
within,
projects.
yes. So it won't create a new folder for us. It's still the same project directory, but
Okay.
two branches within this directory.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's attempt now. Two ways you can create a branch. You either create a branch and remain in the main branch, or where you branch out from, that's one. Or you create a branch and automatically switch to that branch. Are we together?
Yeah.
So create a branch and remain in the branch where you are. You say git branch fix it. If I run git branch, I'm still within master branch, but yet it has created a new branch. Fix it. Are we together?
Yeah.
How do I know it's a master branch? It's the one that has the asterisk. So if I now want to go to the fix it branch, I now use the command
Git switch.
git checkout fix it. You see that? Switched to what? Fix it. If I run git branch now, I'm now where?
Fix it.
Or fix it. Let's return to master branch and
How come
commit.
you have only readme inside fix it? According we
No,
have like five files.
no, look at it properly. All the files are on fix it. Can you see?
Okay, but when you did
No, this
git
guy is showing
Then
us that
modified.
we had something inside the
fix it.
branch we are leaving that we have not staged.
Okay.
Remember that we did something that we have not staged here. So
Yeah.
let's return and go and complete that staging. We say git branch master. Okay, sorry. It should be git checkout.
Sorry, can
Yeah.
you please just touch on what's the essence of having multiple branches?
Okay, beautiful. With another branch, you can edit the code or modify what you have in a new branch without affecting the main branch. Okay, let's go graphical. Here's my white board.
Sorry, while you are setting that up, I want to see if I can just share a brief explanation on how it works.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, Henry. So let's say I would explain it from the developer side, not like DevOps side. Yeah. Okay, you have a project that like four of you are working on. So you have a senior developer that gathered like maybe some interns or junior developers to work on a project together with you, with him. So the senior developer would create a Git repo, a Git repo where he has like I'll call it like a boilerplate, basically like some basic folders or something already existing in that Git repo. So for the interns will just copy, like clone the Git repo to their local machine to work on. But it is not advisable for the intern to push directly to that Git repo.
And that's
For
great.
for an intern, for an intern, you have to create a branch that you personally will be working on so that you will not make that, so that it will not affect that main branch. You are working personally on your own branch that you have created. And once you have worked on that branch, you push through that branch to the remote repository. And the senior developer would decide whether to merge what you have done on your personal branch to the main branch. Do you get?
Yes.
Okay,
So
thank you, sir. I like the fact that you started with from developer point of view. However, you went from the top. Everything you said is correct, but I'm not sure if it is as cleared what that person asked at this level, because
okay.
I've not started talking about branching on the remote repo yet. This branching is you're within, as a developer yourself, you're within your own workstation. Why are you branching? All right. What you explain is correct, especially when you have interns and junior developers. But I mean, the developer, even the junior developer or the intern, why does he want to branch within his own local JIT? Okay. And it is simple. This is the master branch that is created by default when you initiate it within your what local directory. Are you with me, everyone? Now let's say you now want to test a case. This is Python, this is CSS, this is Terraform, this is HTML. Let's say you now want to, maybe there's an error that you spot here, but it's a minor error. Okay. You can now branch out still within the same Git repo. Okay. You can now branch out. So, like that person said, everything inside this place is duplicated here. So here also you also have py, you have css, you have Terraform file, and you have HTML. All the files, 11 files here in the new branch, 11 files. Within the new branch, you can now try to resolve the problem with HTML. If you resolve the problem with HTML, you test it if it works. If it solves the problem that you want to do, you now merge this guy with this guy. Okay. If it does not solve the problem, you discard this what? Delete this branch, you still have your what? Your main branch to work with.
Sorry.
That's one.
Can you merge locally?
Yes. You see it in
Okay.
class. We do
Okay.
it. Okay. That's one. Two. Let's say you even want to be very creative. This guy Python, someone says you can also use Ruby to achieve the same thing. Oh, really? So you mean Ruby will work with CSS, TF, I say, okay, yes. Try it when you get to your workstation. What do? You don't begin to tamper with what you have taken days and weeks to do. What do? You branch out. Everything in this place, when you branch out, will also be in the new what? New branch. You can now test different case scenario you want to test. You can mess around with this new branch anyhow you want it to. When you are done testing it, if it works, if it doesn't work, if it works and you like it, you can merge it with this. If it works and you still don't like it, you can discard this branch. It still does not affect your what? Your master branch.
So the only thing you're really pushing to the remote repository will be the master.
You can also push
You can decide to put your branch.
In fact, in real demo, you don't push to the master on the remote, just like that person explained. You push each developer probably have their own branches. You push to your branch on the remote and you make a merge request.
Okay.
So the
Pull
head of
request.
the team, pull request, a PR, the head of the team will go and look at what you've done. If it is in tandem with the overall plan, he merges it with the what? With the master branch, but that is on the remote repo. I'm saying within
Okay.
your own
So
local Git now.
that's a very good point that you kind of highlighted there, because I'm actually working on a project where I'm seeing what developers are doing, and
Okay.
some of their um merge requests.
Yeah.
I'm in the group. I get the message, even though I'm not
Okay.
supposed to merge anything because that's not my responsibility. But I'm on the request for merge goes to a group, and I'm actually part of the group, so I see it when it comes in. Sometimes I click on the link. I don't merge. I just click on the link and I see what's
You
going on
see
there.
what they've done, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, so every single time a merge request is made, does
Mhm.
that mean that the person who is approving has to go through every single line of code to make sure that it meets the requirements? If that's the case, then I need to be having some conversation with those developers tomorrow morning.
Okay, so merge request at times, right? There's a place where you put what you've done.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I've done, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. Okay, so when the head of the team sees it, he approves the merge request. And there are times you merge a branch and it messes up with the entire master branch. Has anybody experienced that? And that's why you have different commit levels. So when that happens, you revert to the what? You revert to the previous commit. While you are looking for whose head to hammer.
That brings my question I wanted to ask before. So now, if you branch off now and you work on the branch and you finally merge to the master, does it give a new copy of a new master? Become a new version of the master when you merge?
So that's the trouble. But let's not lose the focus. This one you're seeing on your screen, everything is within your what?
Local.
Your local JIT.
Yeah, local
When
JIT.
we get into merging at the remote, we'll show you. So we don't mix it up. I want you to understand why you are branching on your local JIT. And I hope we all understand it now.
Yeah.
So if you need to do different abracadabra, after you have taken about 3 weeks to code, all right, you don't do this abracadabra on your branch, on your master branch. You branch out, do it, test it if it is working. If it is not, you can decide if you want to merge it or you want to discard it. But mind you, once you merge successfully, you have altered the what?
The master branch.
The master. The only thing you have is you that may save you is before you merge, you come to the master, commit, be sure you have a clean tree. If you have a clean tree, it means that you've not done any you've not done any modification. So if you merge and things go south, simply you what? Revert to the last what?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, thanks. Okay.
Who approves this merge request?
Everything is within your local JIT. It is you, sir. That's why I say local JIT.
Okay, we're not talking about
Yeah, we're not talking about remote repo now. When we get there, we'll talk about it. Let's not go ahead of our shadow.
Sorry for jumping the gun.
Because it can be funny, gentlemen, that you've been working on something for months. Anyway, you're not developers. You know, at times when yesterday we were saying developers are cocky, they are rude. But at times, if you see what some of them go through, okay, they know that one small tiny mistake like this can overturn everything they've been doing for weeks. Okay, and that's why Git is saving a lot of them. But those, before there's nothing like Git. What they do is they save us when they code with a notepad. Different savers. But now it is helping you to keep different versions of what you're doing. Okay, and It might be that you are not even interested in branching, testing different cases. It might be your boss that is forcing you. Okay, so try this, and try that, and give me feedback. Give me feedback is saying that don't go and push to the master branch. I don't send you. Try it on your local JIT and let me know how it turns out. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And when we get into Jenkins, you will see that you can ask Jenkins to work with a specific branch on your VCS. You can tell Jenkins that don't work with the master branch. Quickly build this particular branch and give me results. All right. So that before you go and make a big blunder in production, you have actually seen what is going to happen. It is at times when there is too much hastiness and rushing. They say, push to production, push to production, push to production. By the time you push to production, everywhere yam, pepper, scatter. They're not looking for whose head to nail.
To the wall.
All right. So, our time is gone, but let's quickly go and see one or two things with, no. Gentlemen, let's stop here. I've seen what, I think I don't want to rush us beyond this level. When you come to class, like I said, we're going to do 2 classes on Git, just so you have good understanding of what's happening. Because if you are able to keep your source code clean and fine, and I think you are like 50% ahead of whatever trouble that might be coming. Because I hope you know everything is centered around the source code. You know? All right.
Yeah.
So let's stop here. When we come to class next, we'll start with branching. Okay? We will intentionally create a merge conflict. I will merge this. Let's call this fix it. And let's call this fix all. Don't mind me with my funny nomenclatures, okay? I will merge this with this without any problem. Then I will create a problem and try to merge this fix all with the master. And you will see it will have image conflict and how you will resolve image conflict. Okay? By the time we are done with merging, next thing we are now do is how we will now push from our local Git to an empty remote repo. What you did with Mr. Moyo is that you first created a remote repo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you put files inside, isn't it? Did you put files within the remote repo?
Yes, that's what we
The
did. Yes.
README, the README,
Good.
yeah.
The README file.
No,
You now
git-ignore.
come
the git
to
ignore,
your
yes.
you now come to your own local Git and
Cloned
clone
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if it is now the company's remote repo? You're not the one that created it. You're working on your own local Git, and the first thing you would do is to push to commit it to the remote repo. Do you know how to do that?
Git remote add origin, the
For the
URL.
first time you are adding, it's different when you clone. If you clone, you already established a connection with Git remote add, isn't it? It means that you are adding that remote repo as origin to your own local remote, right? But the first time you are now pushing to the remote repo, how do you do that?
Is it git push? You set upstream your branch.
Exactly, set upstream. Did it show you all of that?
No, we didn't do all that. No.
We didn't do.
So that is
we didn't do all that because
doing.
Yeah, I was just going to say we didn't do all that because when we did the clone, like you said, we already established that connection, so we didn't need to do all that stuff.
All right. So we'll come to class next week. We'll fix issues with merge different branching within the local repo, and then also merging, and then how we push for the first time to the remote repo, and then how we can pull from the remote repo. Because when developers resume work every morning, okay, because they are not the only one that is pushing to the remote repo, they first must update their local repo. And that is what git pull.
Git pull
Is a
fetch
combination of git fetch and git merge. Okay, look at all of that next weekend. All right.
Okay, so let me ask this question about the role of a DevOps engineer. So this is definitely what developers will do, right?
Yes,
are we
sir.
just learning this just to know what developers do, just in case, or this is what is the potential for a DevOps engineer needing to do any of these things?
By the time the lead of the development team says you're good to go, you too, you first go and do a cloning of the remote repo into your own local Git as well as DevOps.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So if you do not know how to use Git at that level, you are one shot down. Two, you too, at some point, you will also add some of the files that you are using, like your Docker file, like your Kubernetes manifest, because it is good that you have every file you're using also on the remote repo. Why? Maybe tomorrow you're leaving the company for good. You don't want anybody to be calling you and asking for this and that. All the files you use for the project, they are on the what?
Remote repo.
So you also add it from your own local Git and also push to the remote repo. And don't forget, it is only what Jenkins finds on the remote repo that it will work with, not what it finds on your local Git repo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Any other question, please? All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It seems we've not done a lot. That's correct. But this is our first weekend together, and I'm glad the interaction. However, from next week, we'll add a bit of tension to it. I don't mean tension in a negative way, but at least we'll move faster than this. Okay, so how do we do it? I will ask you to combine all your questions. I'll teach for a while, and I'll open the floor for like 10 minutes to answer our questions. We'll return to teaching. Okay, so that way we're able to have appreciable speed and to learn enough. I think that's fair for everybody. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Angela, you will get the recording both. Okay. Right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you have any question as regards what we are learning, please. I don't answer questions as to who's going to win between Israel and the rest. But questions as touching DevOps, don't wait till weekend. Put it on the Discord, our channel on Discord. Okay.
What about the file you said you'll be sending for us to study?
Oh yes, I'll send that as well. I'll send that to Discord channel. Thank you for reminding me.
Sorry, the recording you were having on this DevOps now, is it the I want to place it the YouTube? Is it YouTube link? Is it different from what we were using before? Is it different?
No, it's still the same playlist.
It's still the same. It's still the same playlist.
Yeah. If you have access to the playlist, please. Or anybody can help us copy the playlist and put on the Discord channel. It's still the same playlist that we are adding everything to. For those who have seen it, they know that the playlist is the same.
How long would those videos last on the playlist? Like, would it be like a year or 2 years?
I think Lady Anne will be the one to answer that. Though. I'm just an errand boy here. All right, but I think it is about 1 year, the minimum. Yeah. But please don't be sucked into that thinking that okay, I have 1 year to watch it. All right. As much as you're learning, go back and watch it. I have bought a course that I was given 1 year, and I'll tell you that work mindset. By the 10th month, when I was ready for it, I didn't remember the password again, and that's how I lost almost 250 USD. That's what I bought the course for. Yeah. You know, by the time I was ready to say, okay, let them reset the password for me, 11 months don't go.
Sleepless nights.
So,
250 will not go like that.
No, my brother, I gave it up. I can't keep myself. I'll be honest. I gave it up. I mean, I can't. By the time I did 2 classes, I needed to know what I can rush. You know, but I regretted that I messed with it, thinking that I have a full 1 year. I should have hit it immediately I registered. You know, so don't fall into my.
No, I'm just asking because, like, for people like us that are kind of like juggling so much activities in regards
things, right? And so what I would advise you is that was how I was too, because I had good reason not to go back and watch it. Okay, but for me to have said I'll buy this thing, all right, I should have said, okay, even if it is just 30 minutes a day, you know, 30 minutes daily, I will not be under that pressure. 1, 2, I will not forget the password. If I was logging in 30,
you bookmark this thing.
You get, I mean, at least even if it's 20 minutes daily, I could spend with it. I mean, I would have covered some length, but it is my brother. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Papa.
Right, sir.